Welcome to the I'm Such a Pisces podcast. We're two friends taking an explorative journey into all things astrology and a little woo. I'm Christine. I'm a creative, intuitive counselor and coach, and astrology enthusiast. We Pisces like to wear all the hats. You can find me on IG at The Dreamy Piscean.
And I'm Shelby. I am a licensed social worker, a big feelings person, and a light skeptic. Here to learn all the astrological things. You can find me on Twitter at Shelby Tweeting, and being a Cancer rising on Instagram at Shelby Cooking Things. Welcome to our show. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the I'm Such a Pisces podcast. I'm Shelby.
And I'm Christine.
And I'm a little intimidated every time it gives us that countdown. I don't know what.
You're like, oh, we're live. Oh my God, we're live on camera. Like,
it feels so much more serious now that we're doing the YouTube channel because I'm like,
right,
how do I
look? What am I doing? What do I do with my hands? Like, you know.
And then last week I was like, I'll be okay. Like the first time we recorded for the YouTube channel, I put makeup on, and then last week I was like, I'm fine. I'm good. I like how I look. Like whatever. And then I watched the clips back later, and I was like, "Bitch, put some makeup on." I was like, "You look tired." I was like,
the first one, I'm like, "Oh no, that's no, girl." I was like, "You gotta put something in there. It's not right."
That's okay. We'll figure it. I think today I was like, "All right, I'm gonna try a little harder."
Right. I know. I'm like, okay, we're gonna put some eyeliner on.
Yep. Yep. Christine has it down too, because she just does the eyes and nothing else. And I'm like, you know what? For the level of recording that my laptop is doing, it's actually probably fine.
Right, same. And I mean, this is just my normal, like, if I'm going to put something on at this point, it usually is just the eyes, unless it's a special occasion. And I mean, yesterday was a special occasion. I didn't do the face either. I just did the eyes.
Oh, okay, look at that. And I was gonna say yesterday,
like, natural girl. Is it basic? It's vanilla? Is it what can I call myself?
What do they call it? Okay, so I learned this the other day on TikTok, because now what the kids are Gen Z and below is calling preppy is like Lululemon, like slick back buns. It's very like clean girl aesthetic.
Clean girl, that's what. Yes, clean girl. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yes,
I will never be a clean girl. I'll never.
I'm not a clean girl.
That. I can buy a lot of two-piece workout sets, and put my hair in a slick back bun, but I'm always gonna look like a little bit of a feral rat. I think that's just the vibe. That's the energy we've got going on over here.
We're not. There's nothing really clean about it. Like, one, it's Pisces energy. It's just, that's very messy. We already know, right?
We don't mind to get down and into the dirt a little bit.
We're getting in there. We're getting in. So.
Yeah.
So I feel like the dabble and different identities. So like, play around with it. Like, I like to pretend like I'm a clean girl one day. But...
Right. I can cosplay for a little while, but I
can cosplay as a clean girl.
It's not who I actually am. Speaking of special occasions, I want to go back to that, because yesterday was a very special occasion because it was Christine's birthday.
Yeah.
How was your birthday, friend?
My birthday was wonderful. I got to spend it. A friend of mine told me, "No, don't go to work." And I was like, "Oh, my Taurus rising.
You don't have to tell me twice."
Yeah, like, oh, don't go to work. Okay, yeah.
Okay. If you insist,
yeah. He said, "Hey, like, let's do something fun. Like, let's celebrate." I'm like, "Okay." So went to a nice little boozy breakfast. We had a little smoke sesh, and then we went to the African Music Museum here in Nashville downtown.
How was it? I haven't been yet, and I would love to go.
It's amazing. It's super dope. I really enjoy it. We had a good time. There were a few field trips there that I was like, it's just a little,
yeah, right.
Because I mean, and it was like mostly elementary kids.
Right.
Well, first of all, I'm off work today.
Not your responsibility
No, I'm
today.
not trying to see
Right?
some of the small children.
That's fair.
But just they're just it becomes overrun and they get into all the experiential things and then they don't like
Right.
leave. It's like, hello, paying customers here.
Yes, right.
And it was still cool. I think, it was his first time. He really enjoyed it.
Okay.
But I also encouraged him to go back again on a different
With
day.
less
So
children.
he
Yeah.
can, get to play around and stuff. I was like, I really wanted you to get in the studio. It's really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in that museum. And it's just like really visually beautiful.
Stimulating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and we had a great day. I came back, just chill, chill time. Spend time outside. It was like sunny, 72. It was like perfect.
Ideal weather. Yes, we love it. For your
So I
birthday, of
sat
course.
out just like for a couple hours in the afternoon. I had some like reflection time, some meditation time. You know how I love it, some reading time.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just, I was fed. Anything.
I love it.
That's
Not in that one way that we've been
not in that one way.
talking about, but
all these other ways. It was really great. So yeah, it was a great day. It was really great.
good. I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah, it's your birthday is so interesting to me because you are a Pisces, you have the Pisces energy, but this year your birthday was actually in Aries season. And hello,
Yes.
welcome to Aries season.
Listen, like the leap year knows, leaped, and trying to leave me out.
We won't let that happen.
Left without me. No,
we're not gonna let that happen.
My solar return was actually the night before, so it was like that night before at like 8:00.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pisces season had ended.
Officially
on that Tuesday night, and so yeah, by Wednesday we were in Aries season, but it was still my birthday.
I feel like it went by so quickly. Pisces season.
It always feels like that, right?
Yeah. It does
Everyone
feel that way.
Wrong.
Yeah, except for ours. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of this time of year, and it also doesn't help that we took 2 weeks off at the beginning of it.
Right.
So that was mostly my bad because I was out of town, so we had to take 2 weeks off. But also, it was a nice little vacay.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay. Hey, here's something to think about. Have you been exceptionally horny since Aries season started?
Well, we're always. I'm an Aries Venus. We're always horny.
Yeah. Anyway,
like, does that ever end? Like, is that
probably not?
Is there a time that you're not?
Probably not. Probably not.
You're
I can't tell if it's
Aries.
Aries season or if I'm ovulating or what, but I'm just like, damn.
Mm.
Damn. All right. Okay. This is what we're getting into for the astrological new year.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Right in.
Anyway, you remember last week when I was like, sometimes people on the podcast that listen to us are probably like, hey, don't share so much. Out there like, I would like to know less about
these things. It's like I came from the astrology and we're getting a lot about feeling right. I mean, we're talking about Aries, right?
It's appropriate, I think.
Born dogs, like just
kind of their whole thing. And every Aries I know, a little bit of a pervert.
Just can't help it. Just every little thing, like, that looks like a penis. Like, I was looking at something the other day. I was like,
it's so phallic.
They drew it looking like that. Like, no, what's that? Tell me about this on the story. We had some kids drawing like comic storyboards the other day in one of these classes. Boy. And so they're drawing things. I'm like, what's that? What's that?
Tell me about this part. I know I'm always trying not to put adult thoughts into the kid brains, but I'm also just like, I do have to ask tell me more about this part.
Yes, they have adult thoughts in those kid brains, or they have adult content in those kid brains, and not necessarily like visual, but like they have they've heard things, they say words, they talk about things, and you're
they
like,
don't always.
What you know about that?
Wait
Tell
a
me
minute.
about it. And they get shot. I'm like, so either you know about it or you don't know what you're talking about, but you know that you shouldn't be talking about it. So nip that in the bud.
You know you shouldn't be
But-
talking about it. That's
Right.
the part. Ah, yes.
Like, if you're too shy to tell me about it, then you probably shouldn't be saying
Something to that. Something to
something
that.
to that. But there's a lot of interesting things. Like, oh, that looks. Just like, just hold it. Just keep it to yourself.
Yes. On that note, do we want to check on our co-stars for this week?
Yeah. My headline was very interesting today.
Mine was too, and I think you're gonna laugh.
Ooh. Do
Okay.
you want to go first?
Yes, I'm ready. Okay, so this week my co-star says it's a good time to give yourself permission. Because you know I'm always ready to give myself permission to do
Okay. Like,
whatever.
all right. Let me take a day off. Okay.
Okay. Sure will.
Give myself permission. All right.
All right. Give myself permission. Do's include steam rooms, exfoliants. Sounds like a sexy shower time. And secrets.
Oh,
We're doing secrets today.
it's in the steam room.
Secrets and we're gonna
And
exfoliate.
exfoliating.
We're gonna share secrets. We're gonna get in the steam room. Perfect day. Can't think of anything I'd rather do.
Steamy secrets.
I'm gonna take a long shower tonight. That sounds nice. Oh man, I've already done all these things today. Don't hubris, captive audience.
Here we are.
And coyness.
Oh.
I feel like being coy is like a core component of my personality. A lot of these, like, yeah.
Sorry, our audio listeners cannot see these faces.
I know. I'm so sorry. Get on the YouTube channel. I'm doing a weird raised eyebrow thing. It's very coy. I'd say it's very coy. All right. So what does your co-star say today?
My co-star says, get off the internet.
Oh, take a little break today. Okay.
I saw it all day. Every time I looked at my phone, I was like, oh, okay, don't get on. Okay, I'm not going to get on social media. I do need to check this over here. Like, get off here. Like, okay, I'm not going to get on. I'm like, shit.
Sorry.
Well, I do have to do this over here. Like, I do need to check on this. Well,
yeah.
I know. So, do playlist.
Okay.
Check. Nature walks. I wish today. Yeah, I do wish.
Long day.
And clean desk.
When was the last time you had a clean desk?
So let me say, okay. So my desk at work is fairly clean.
At work,
it's fairly clean.
Sure.
Like, yeah. Now, not the work desk at home. No. But if I get, if I'm too active, the desk is never clean.
Right.
If I'm really in the zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll tell you.
Yeah.
That's a measure of how much work I do. How clean my desk is. If it's clean, I'm probably not doing a whole lot.
You're probably not on it at all. Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Okay.
At least creative, but we'll say that. But I don't know. Okay. Don't bureaucracy.
Oh, fine. Yeah. Twist my arm. I won't.
Right. Okay. Big decisions.
Okay.
Okay. And overcommitment. I try not to do those things.
Try not to do those things ever. Yeah.
Or not to commit.
Sometimes you just have to make a big decision,
Sometimes you have to make a big decision, But we are, next week we're going to really talk about it. But we're going to talk about transits. But, we're entering, one of those Mercury retrogrades. So we're in the retro shade.
This is terrible because this is also the time where I'm trying to buy a house. And so I'm just like,
this is not. So can you just hold off for 5-6 weeks?
That's a long time. Let me tell you. Let me tell you, they're all going to be gone. So we'll see.
Well, you know the rule. Just read over it 3 times. Read everything.
We're not making any rash decisions.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Time, read everything.
And maybe by the time, even if because I'm still just in a looking process right now. So if I find something I like, I'll be like, all right, give me a long close. We're not closing on this for a few weeks. So let's wait till we're out of the retrograde to actually sign all the contracts, do all the
Yes.
things, Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, if you can avoid it,
We're gonna
try. But if you
try.
have to, just make sure you're thorough. That's all
Thorough.
just be thorough.
Do our best.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Do we want
wanna
to take
take
a
a break?
break? Yes. Let's take a quick break and come back with our relatable content.
Hey y'all, we are back with the relatable content.
Woo!
And so we're starting up first with a little eclipse information, a little talk.
Yes.
The lunar eclipse is coming up. I know we've been talking about the solar eclipse, because we are going to have some totality action here in the United States. So that's not where we are
Not where either
particularly.
of us
Yes.
is really, yeah.
Though my friend is from Cleveland, right? And so
Yeah.
they are the path of totality. And I'm like,
Oh,
hey, are you gonna be at home? Because he would be here working. And he's like, oh no, I'll be here. I'm like, I think you should actually stay at home. I think you should
Right.
stay and witness it.
It's
I'm
gonna
like,
be
it's
a
pretty
big
damn
event.
cool.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Go
was like,
get in
also, I
on
have no
that.
idea what flights and stuff will be like getting in and out
Oh.
of that city during that time.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I wonder how that affects. Yeah, I'd be
Yeah, I
curious
was
about
like,
that.
I want to just keep that in mind also. I was like, these might be
Right.
kind of crazy that weekends-ish,
Yeah.
like, so yeah, but I'm like, yeah, I would like cancel a couple of days.
Right, because that's in April, right? The solar eclipse is in April. Okay, yeah.
This one, the total solar eclipse is April 8th.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a Monday. I would stay. I would stay
I
at
would
home.
stay.
But, only, and that's me saying that as someone who saw it again in
Right.
2017. So, like, yeah, I'd stay at home.
Yeah. Well, and again, we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but it was a really cool event. Like, I'm really glad. It's something I'll remember forever. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah.
about this lunar eclipse? Tell me about this. Because that's happening
on
on
another note,
the day that this episode drops, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So when this episode airs, we will be experiencing that evening, the lunar eclipse. And so this lunar eclipse is happening in the sign of
Libra.
And so we can kind of expect relationships, partnerships, those kind of relationships, those kind of energies. We can expect those to come to the forefront. Those issues, those matters, any healing that needs to happen in those spaces. Can expect those things to come up. I don't know I can't remember how much we've talked about eclipses, but we're going to talk more about them next week.
Yeah.
But eclipses are typically like catalysts for change.
Right.
So those changes can be, lasting up and, until like 6 months, post those eclipses. So think about that in the terms of like relationships, things, matters of the heart, the emotions, the inner world, because again, we're talking about the moon. And so any issues that need to be worked through, any things that need to be, moved through, those are probably going to be coming up during these times. Any changes that need to happen so that you can thrive, those things are going to come up at that time. So what are your thoughts?
With that, I'm just, of course, I'm always like, I don't know, maybe that's very Piscean of me to just always be like in the mood for a transformation. So, I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But I'm glad to know it's coming, kind of thing.
It's coming. And so, sometimes, well, it's not Pluto. It's not Pluto involved. But
right.
This does have to do with kind of, when you think about the alignment of the lunar eclipse. So the moon is blocked by the Earth's shadow. And so in that way, it symbolizes our need to block out our ego, that sun piece. and reflect our emotional world.
Okay.
That moon piece. So just think about all of those things as this is coming up again. Episode drops the day of. So, if you listen to the episode the first day it drops, then you'll catch this little info. But you can still, the eclipses are long lasting.
Right.
And so you can definitely work with this information and just keep this in mind. Any things that are coming up during this time, especially around relationships or any, traumas, any wounds that need healing, just pay close attention to those areas.
Okay. So that brings us to our next thing, which is I've got a couple of options for us today when it comes to doing a celebrity birth chart. Although you were talking about big wounds and it kind of leads me towards one over the other, but I'm gonna tell you what they are and I'll let you pick. So
Okay.
I told Christine beforehand that I'm like very into Dune right now. The Duneverse, the Dune universe.
Okay,
Yes.
Duneverse. Okay,
I just made that up. I
Duneverse.
don't think anybody's saying that. That's just me. I just made that up.
It's like it's the
Um,
new fandom, the Duneverse. You got it. With it.
so Christine is not as big into the Duneverse as I am,
I'm
but
not knowledgeable of the Duneverse. Not
I'm
much.
happy to give you a brief synopsis, and then really I just watched the second part of the Dune movie and it was very good. It's a very, very good film. It's got Zendaya in it. It's got Timothy Chalamet, who is a little cringe but like really a good actor. I just don't think that he's the heartthrob that everybody else does. He's just
Oh,
I'm not into it in that way. But he's a
okay.
great actor, I will say.
Okay, that's what we hired you for.
Yeah. So I was thinking either we could go over the two of their birth charts, or the other thing that came to mind, and this is more on the wounding end of the spectrum. Have you heard
Mm-hmm.
much about? So I know we've talked about a couple of our like we are pretty like we're close enough in age that most everything is same, but then I got some things that occasionally I'll make like a reference to something from my childhood and you're like, I don't know. But I watched a ton of Nickelodeon when I was a kid, the network.
Yes.
And most of the shows that were not animated shows on Nickelodeon were produced by Dan Schneider. Are you familiar with the scandal around Dan Schneider?
No,
Okay. Do you know who that is? Like, have you
I
heard that name?
do.
Okay, okay.
I did watch quite a bit of Nickelodeon, so I'm like,
Yes.
I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
with you on the okay.
Okay, so he did all that. No, he didn't do all that. I just made that up. He did the Amanda Show. He
Okay.
did iCarly, I think. He did maybe he did do I don't know. He produced a lot of Nickelodeon shows and a lot
Uh-huh.
of like Nickelodeon stars. Now iCarly was actually like that was past my time, but like I knew that it was a thing. And then there was some spin-off shows from that. So just kid shows basically.
Yeah.
Drake and Josh. I don't know. I'm like trying to name off all the other kid shows that this guy produced. And he is like notoriously creepy and weird.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
there was like things on the shows that were weird. There's some weird things around all the child actors that have come out allegedly
Oh
that
no, right,
he
allegedly.
later like many people have said like he made me feel uncomfortable, like all this stuff. So I
Mm.
haven't seen it yet, but apparently they released a documentary about him very recently. So the things that I know are one, I read this book over the summer called I wish that or I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I know,
Oh,
jarring title. Really
yeah.
good book. It's a biography by Jeanette McCurdy. She played Sam on iCarly, and then she had her own spin-off show. So she was like a child star. She
Okay.
worked really closely with him. She talked about her experiences with him in the book, among some other things.
Mm.
And then somebody else, I think Amanda Bynes maybe has said some things about him, but also I don't know if you've checked in on Amanda Bynes lately. Like she's out there. She's like
Not well?
definitely she's unwell. She's like has some
Oh no.
probably untreated mental illness things. So anyway, that has just been in the news a lot lately, and I really would like to watch the documentary. But the other person whose birth chart just randomly came up when I was looking at birth charts was Amanda Bynes' birth chart, and she is an Aries.
Oh wow.
So okay, sorry. That was like I went all over the place with that. So do you want to do the Duneverse or do you want to do Amanda Bynes? Whoever we don't do this week.
Popped up Amanda, and I'm like, what's going on with Amanda? And also, what's going on? There's a lot of okay. Wait, this was not on the plan, but also, it just made me think of Kate Middleton, and I'm like, what is going on?
Oh shit! Oh my god! Okay, you know what? Actually, let me see what she is really fast because what the fuck is going on with Kate Middleton? I didn't even think about that.
What's happening? Is she not? Is she missing? Is there a double? It's like, what's happening?
Because that lady that they paraded out and they were like, here she is, she's fine. That was not Kate Middleton. That was some other bitch. Like, it was not her. Everybody knows that wasn't her. We're all in agreement about that, right?
Yeah.
I think, okay. Do you want to hear my theory?
You know, we love a conspiracy. Come on.
Okay. So my theory is that Kate Middleton left Buckingham Palace because William Stay is having an affair, right?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's for. I mean, I think that's like. Really? Well, look at his daddy.
Well, okay.
You know, like, yeah.
I mean, but he was in love with that one. He was just in love with Camilla. Like he was
just
in love with Camilla.
He was.
That was all fucked up, but. Yeah, I feel I didn't know about William now. I got to get into some tea now.
I think, and I don't know if it's with the same woman or if it's with various women. I feel free to fact check me on this, but that is what I have. I've spent some time on Twitter or X, I guess. I'm never gonna call it that.
Makes it sound like you're doing drugs.
It really does.
We're not opposed to. But
definitely never opposed to. Okay, so I think that she doesn't feel like she has any power over the British royal family, but she's tired of him fucking around, and so she took the kids to some undisclosed location. She's not talking to the media. She's not like doing anything that she's not supposed to. But now the royal family is like, oh shit, we actually have to do something about this. We have to tell people like where she is, like, and they're panicking. So they're like, I think that's really what it is she's just like trying to put him in a difficult position to where he has to make some sort of a statement. Because I feel like the royal family is all kinds of fucked up. Because I think, obviously, like speculation on what happened with Diana.
Some fucked up shit.
Yeah, something fucked up, and so I think she knows that is not going to happen to her, but at the same time. Yep. She is like, okay, what can I do that's within my power here to like force their hand to, make some sort of a statement or get him to stop fucking around on me. And so she's just making it look like she disappeared. I don't know.
I mean, it feels like a high control group over there, It feels like, I used to really get into like, and I guess I probably still do. I enjoy period pieces and shit. Like,
I know you do. You love it. You're the one that got me into Downton Abbey.
Okay, listen, I love a period piece, and I particularly like English shit. So, like, I got into the monarchy stuff, like going all the way back. I get into just weird, strange. It is what it is. Yeah. Maybe there's like a romance piece or something that clicks with like my Pisces nature.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. So that it's a thing. Like
it's a thing. Yeah. Do you have you been keeping up with any of the royal family drama of this? Any of this?
So I haven't, but I keep seeing things about Kate. And I'm like, what's going on with her? And so then I saw the thing with the, picture with the kids and she didn't have the ring on. I was like, uh-oh. That's the media. That's a telltale sign. We ain't got that ring on. We're going to zoom in. She's not wearing the ring.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong.
It's getting resized into this. She's bloated, whatever. There are literally so many
she's bloated.
I mean, people People will tell you all kind of reasons that they don't wear their rings, but like
Sure.
also people who are celebrities or people who are, famous, no, it's a no thing. Like you can't be out here without your ring on.
Right. Right.
Unless you
You
have a
know what
very
you're
solid,
doing.
ironclad excuse and
And
reason, and your spouse co-signs it.
this is the fucking royal family. If your ring was getting resized, they'd give you a replacement,
You
or
know
you
they
could
have a faux.
a
Yep.
band or
Yep.
something, you know?
They have a whole replica.
Yeah. Something's wrong over there, that's for sure.
There's definitely something wrong. I was like, oh no, because I did see the fake Kate. I was like, oh, that is not her. Oh my
That's
god.
not yeah.
Stop
That
it.
shit is
Are they
wild to me.
trying
It's
to
like,
pull up?
do y'all think we're stupid?
We are not dumb. We know what
We're
Kate look
not
like.
dumb. Like, you might have
We've
been
been
able to
there the
pull
whole time
that.
to see the wedding. We was here.
Yes.
We was there when they was dating in college. At least I know.
Okay, so I also have been reading, and again, this is all speculative, alleged, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But I've seen a bunch of people on Twitter talking about how Kate Middleton is like really, I hate to say it like this, but she's kind of a pick me because her, like, she knew that she just was like trying to be in the room with the royal boys or whatever, because she was like, I'm finna
Mm,
be a princess. I'm about to be the Queen of England. Like, because she had
mm.
the right bloodline or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And her whole, like, everyone that has like said anything about her is like, oh yeah, she was annoyingly like trying to get in the room, trying to get next to him. Like, that was always
Interesting.
the goal, was for her to be, you know,
Well,
in the royal
welcome.
family. And yeah, look, now you got what you wanted, and it's not so great, actually.
I don't know who thought it was. I mean, I'm like, look, did you watch the stuff that I was watching? I mean, the history,
Right.
the whole history
Right.
of all of this is real fucked up. Like, do you want
And
to join this?
I also saw, which I'm old enough to remember this. I'm certain that you also recall that William and Harry used to be like heartthrobs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and William especially was the hot one. He
Mm-hmm.
has aged like a piece of raw meat. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he
This is
looks
why I was
so
like,
bad.
Williams having an affair like that. But I was like, and I
Right.
know he's in, I know his position, but I'm like,
Yeah.
no, listen,
Look.
no, not today's William. No, maybe the young William, yeah, when they was, young.
Right.
Yeah, I love something. I was still always a Harry fan. Harry always,
You chose right.
love a redhead. We love the little ginger. Like we just
Okay. Good to
Harry
know.
was always cute.
Good to know.
And he just got better with time. I was like, look at this man.
He really did. He really did. And then he married
So,
Megan. He really
you know.
seems to be the one doing it right. Although I'm sure that the entire family is deeply traumatized.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for a myriad of reasons. But
Yes.
yeah. Anyway. So as it turns out, just in case you were curious, it looks like Kate is a Capricorn. No.
Mm,
Is that right? Capricorn, yeah. She's
okay.
January
I
9th.
can
Yeah.
see that.
That's Cap. That's
And
Cap.
that very much fits with what you were saying about, I mean, I don't want to say Capricorns are pick-me's, but also
But the determination to succeed and knowing
yeah.
exactly what you needed to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ladder climbing is a part of Capricorn. Like I'm
Mhm.
my status is elevating.
Right. Yeah. Now I want to know what Prince William's sign is. Okay, sorry, I'm not going to do the whole birth chart. I just
Hey, that's fine. I'm here for it.
Okay, Prince William,
Like
June
this
20.
is live, y'all.
Is that is he a Gemini or is that a Cancer? June
Wait, what?
21st?
What's his
June
birthday?
21st.
Should be Gemini. Or
Gemini.
could be Cancer. Is it right at the end?
It's 1980.
Mhm.
Let me just look it up.
Yeah, that's that's cuspy.
Mm-hmm.
It's always
Oh,
cuspy around those days.
this says he's a Cancer. Yeah, he
Okay,
was
Cancer.
June
Okay.
21st, 1982 at 9:03. But you're right on that edge for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if he gets he might be having some emotional affairs.
Oh, which some might say that's even worse.
Oh
Some,
yeah, a lot of people
meaning
would agree
me,
with
I would
that.
say that's
Yes.
worse.
You say not you?
Some meaning me, like I would
I
say
mean,
that's worse. Yeah. I
Yeah, those emotional affairs are rough. Yeah,
fuck around if you want to, but like, don't. Yeah,
right. Don't be attached to that person.
emotionally,
Like, what the
that's a whole different deal.
fuck?
That's a whole
Love.
different deal. And really, I'm just gonna be mad that you lied to me and you didn't tell me about it.
Why can I be a part of it? Like, just trying to see why I can't be a part.
What? we just had this whole conversation about couple to throuple. Are you fucking kidding me?
Hello?
Yeah. Anyway, okay, sorry. Now
Yeah.
I like. Let me get back to what I was actually doing. Where is the Amanda Bynes birth chart? Okay, here we go.
So okay, well they fit Capricorn and Cancer.
It does technically go well together.
Opposites.
All right. So, are you ready for? Are you ready
I'm
to
ready. I'm
shift
ready.
gears
I'm
and get the
ready.
Amanda Bynes birth chart?
Ooh, take a deep breath.
Okay,
Go right, girl.
here we go. April 3rd, 1986 at 8:06 a.m. All right. She is giving us Sun in Aries, Moon in Aquarius, which I bet that's an interesting placement.
Yeah.
Uh,
That Aquarius moon is always interesting. And the combination, whatever combination it gets, gives you even more interest, right? It's the Aquarius moon placement, and then like what is the sun placement? What is the rising placement? Like all of that.
Because then this Aries sun, obviously. Mercury in Pisces.
Okay. Interesting.
Venus in Taurus.
Okay.
It's at home there. Yeah.
Yeah, very sensual, very
Mars in Capricorn, just also solid placement. Jupiter in Pisces, Saturn in Sagittarius.
Okay.
Uranus in Sag, also Neptune in Capricorn, Pluto in Scorpio. North Node is in Taurus. Chiron is in Gemini. Oh, the ascendant is in Taurus as well.
Oh, that's a similar placements to me. North Node and Ascendant in Taurus. Like, yeah, okay.
Interesting.
Like little similarities. Like, what's going to be similar? What's going to be similar?
Yeah. So
okay,
there is the
that's some
Amanda
interesting.
Bynes.
Okay, so Aries Sun, Aquarius Moon, Taurus Rising.
Let's see. So we've also got some aspects on here if you would like me to
Sure.
read some of them off. She's got a Jupiter square Saturn. What was that? What's that giving you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, their energies are they're almost opposite kind of energies anyway, you know? Think of how expansive and, optimistic Jupiter is and all that. And then you have Saturn that's very like,
Daddy
realities
energy,
and responsibilities and, that kind of space. So it's, so them squaring is, I mean, it's not a great thing, but it's like, that's also not her personal energy.
Right.
I mean, it's not it's not that personal energy. It's kind of that, in between. It's like, I don't love it, but I'm sure it creates some challenge, right? Challenges.
Let me look at. Oh, okay. There's there's Jupiter square Chiron, but then there's also her moon is square to Pluto. Which that feels more of like a
yeah. Again, remember those any Pluto contact? It's like it's unpleasant for her at least. Wasn't this? Oh yeah, this was the year. This year, last solar return chart. I have the moon square Pluto. I was like, yeah, well, she's got that in the natal. Okay, so that's some definite interesting energy.
Yeah. Pluto is also square her midheaven. And then, I don't know. And I'm still just like looking through if there's anything else that seems interesting.
Got some Pluto squares, so it's just definitely gonna have some things that have to transform out of. So probably some traumas. Definitely some traumas.
So that's my that's
the
celebrity birth chart corner. Yeah, I don't know actually how she is at this exact moment, but that just I feel like I've been hearing a lot about her and all of those, like, former Nickelodeon kid stars right now just because of
Mm.
the Dan Schneider documentary, and
What is the Dan Schneider
what
documentary
is it
on?
called? Let me
Is it
look.
streaming?
Mm.
You know I love a
I know
documentary,
you
so
do.
doesn't even matter if I know what it's going to be about. I'm
Let's
gonna learn
see.
while I'm there.
Okay, it's called, is this right? Quiet on the Set? Let's see. Oh, okay, so he is Quiet on the Set, The Dark Side. Where is this? Investigation documentary, The Dark Side of Kids TV. It's a 4-part series about the problematic working environment at Nickelodeon, but tell me where I can watch it.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, it's streaming on HBO Max. There you go. Or Max, I
All
should
right.
say. Yeah.
So I need to renew my Max. Okay, I'm renewing it. Thank you.
Okay, so we will actually watch that, and then maybe that's something we can
We'll
discuss
check
at
back
some
in.
point. Yes, at some point. Speaking of checking back in, do you want to talk a little bit about, I finished watching
Yes.
Couple to Throuple. So
Couple to
what are our
Throuple.
thoughts?
Ooh, that was a wild ride. Okay. When I tell you, did you so once you caught back up or once you
Yes.
jumped back in, things turned up.
Things did turn up. Look, I am waiting for the reunion episode. I know they gave us like a little synopsis and
I know.
but
And it
like
makes me feel like that's their version. I'm like, no, we need a
no, we
reunion.
need a true
Put the reunion
reunion.
together.
Yes. Cuz like yeah, okay. So what are your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts?
So okay. There's so many different pieces. Okay, so when we come back, I'll try to start as close as I can to episode 6. So Maximo and Ash come into the house,
Mhm.
and that's kind of a stir. So Maximo is he's our femme
Mhm.
presenting.
Mhm.
I don't know
I think
his I don't
they both identified as
they-
non-binary, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, binary. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, yes, non-binary.
Yes.
So, and then we have Ash, and so they're both MB,
Mhm.
and so they're open to like whoever.
Yeah.
And so, like, okay, that's a cool element. Like, all right,
They also,
we
just
got
as a
like,
couple, like, as soon as they came into the show, it was like they just, like, kind of exude sex, and that, like,
yes,
faded for
yes,
me after I got to know them a little bit more, but then, like, initially, I was like, "Oh, they're so intriguing, they're so sexy." I feel like everybody was
yeah,
just like
like there's so much skin, and just like,
yeah.
oh, okay, like, all right,
I was
like,
into
and
them.
Max always has like some kind of harness
Yes,
situation
exactly.
happening, or like fishnets, bodysuits, and I'm
Right.
like, okay, come
Look at
on,
this
yeah,
look, like, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Very much they're serving. They're serving.
yes, they're always serving.
Yes.
Yes, they're here for the queers, and they're like, well, we got to show out for our folk,
And
and I was like,
it's
okay,
about
I'm here
time
for it.
because literally everyone
Yes,
else other than Rahman and Ashmal is like just they're too straight passing for me. Like give me something
yes,
else to look
yes.
at, please.
So I was here for it. I was like, okay, this is very interesting.
Mhm.
So then we have some interesting femme energy
Mhm.
with Ramon, and I feel like I don't know, I feel like they were almost feeling Maximo for a second, but they knew, I mean, they weren't there for them,
Right.
Maximo was not there for them.
Right.
So but it was almost like, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but we can
but
see that quickly
also
turned into
and then that changed.
yeah.
And then it turned to some mess.
Yes.
So short lived. But yeah, that so Maximo and Ash were interested in many people
Mhm.
throughout their time.
Mhm.
Which and to some degree, I don't think that that's really a big deal, but I think because of the kind of show it is, like they're really pushing you towards, commitment
Yes.
to
Yes.
another person, a third person,
Right.
instead of allowing you to really like fully get to know these other people before you
Everybody.
commit to them.
Right. Right, and I think that is I don't know, I mean, I guess that's part of it because it's they're pushing that commitment because that is what makes for interesting TV. I think you said that
Mhm.
last time. But also, I kind of just want to watch the show where everybody in the house just kind of fucks each other, and then like maybe
Listen,
they
and
make a
there was some
deeper
of that
connection.
happening.
There certainly was some of that happening, but like,
Saw some bed moving, especially in
man,
the boys' room. Okay, the boys' room was very active. I was like, listen,
they were
okay.
showing shit that I was like, oh, I didn't know they could show that on TV. Like, this is porn.
Like I was like, you can tell exactly what's going on under those covers.
You sure can. I saw a lot of this,
a lot of this,
a lot of this, a lot of this. Like, yeah, thank you to YouTube listeners who can see what I'm doing right now. But it was all like under a very thin sheet. And I was just like, oh my God. Okay. Can I don't want to jump ahead. I don't know how much you want to talk about this.
No, you go for it. I just wanted to, come in right at the beginning and then we can move around.
Okay, so here's where we are at the end of the show. Obviously, they pick Jonathan, Ramon, and Ashmal. So they do this whole rigmarole where they go back and forth, and then they're like, "We hate Jonathan," and they're like, "Actually, we miss Jonathan. We love Jonathan." And they
now we're still in love. And poor Frank.
Poor Frank. Oh my God.
Poor Frank.
Someone give Frank a chance. He is so fine. He is so fucking hot. And he's so sweet and like easy to talk to.
Frank, if you're into women, I'm not sure, but hey, I'm here.
Someone date Frank. I want to see Frank have his own show. Anyway.
Come on.
Justice for Frank. Okay, first of all.
Yes.
Second of all, okay, fine. They all fuck around and they finally decide that they're gonna get Jonathan. So after he's been with Maximo and Ash, clearly he's not into that. I don't think he's actually really that into women.
I don't think so either. I was like, how's that working?
Yeah.
Like,
I think he just wanted to stay on the show and be in the house. And okay, so also he's friends with the girl that they had before, who I actually really liked. Right. And so you told her, you were like, you did the honest thing, and you were like, yeah, your couple is interested in me. But then you said yes. You still said yes?
But then you said yes.
Maybe they had some kind of agreement that we didn't see.
Maybe.
Anyway, all that to say, okay, it's the end of the show. They pick Jonathan. Jonathan picks them. Happily ever after. But then we see that in the aftermath, I want to know so badly. So Ramon and Ashmal actually broke up. And they both, like, it was actually Ramon and Jonathan that, like, stayed together. But then at the end, it was like Ashmal and Ramon are still, like, best friends. And actually now neither one of them talked to Jonathan. Here's my theory. So I didn't ever look it up, but the whole show, Ramon is wearing these t-shirts and these shirts or whatever that say Detroit Millennial on them. I think he like does it. I didn't look it up to see what that was, just because I know that that's what he wanted me to do. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But like, I think he either has a clothing brand or like he's promoting something. And I think him and Ashmal were like dating, but not like super serious. And they both were like, all right, how about this? Let's go on the show. I'll promote my shit. We're dating. We'll bring in a third. We'll have some weird hot sex with a third. And it'll all just be good for everybody. And I think he's just like, I do think that he is the person that he was on the show. Like, I think he's bad at talking about his feelings and all of that. But I kind of think that it was just like a big ploy to promote his shit. And because it also said that him and Ashmal host watch parties for the show in Chicago, which is where they're from. And so I'm just like, I think that they're just really in the queer community and they were like looking for an in on a reality show. That's my theory.
Yeah. And I mean, guys and just, they're guys.
Right. So
it's like, yeah, you want to do this? Yeah, okay. Yeah. We like to fuck each other. So
it's already out. We're,
grab a third person. Let's all have a good time.
Because the other thing they talked about was how they both all, like, they have an agreement that if they go out and they, like, make out with somebody else,
right,
it's
yes,
fine.
That's right. That did come out.
Yeah, and Jonathan was like, I'm not really down for that.
Right. He's like, no, wait a minute. No, what? I'm like, we
Yeah.
got jealous about that. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're cool with it. Like,
Yeah.
hmm,
I don't
interesting.
I don't know. It was very interesting, but it was
Very detached, right? Like,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That was my thoughts about that.
So tell me, okay, I know we didn't talk much about Sean and Brittany,
Yeah.
and they had an interesting thing going on.
Darian.
Darian. Okay,
Darian.
thank you. I was
Yes.
like, what's her
Okay.
name?
Yes.
Yeah, because they had a little saga, and then what was Darian
Yeah.
going to say? Darian was also being courted by Maximo and
She
Ash,
was.
but also she was interested
She
in
was.
Maximo's, and that was part of the drama because she
Yeah.
wanted to kiss them.
Well, and I think Darian signed up for the show being like, yeah, I'm very open to polyamory, thinking that like the way that we talked about last week, where it's just like,
Right.
yes, polyamory means I get to have multiple partners. And then she
Yes.
got with Sean and Brittany and they were like, no.
You're ours.
But also they weren't fucking.
Right.
Which,
Yeah.
not everybody is as much of a hoe as I am. That's fine. I understand that. Not everyone is ready to immediately jump into that, to like do the physical connection. But also it seemed like Sean and Brittany weren't really all that physical with each other anyway.
Right.
Which was interesting because they're both so sexy. Like,
I mean, I'm like,
y'all are both.
damn, you don't want to touch that woman?
Yeah,
I'm like,
look
the
at
pictures
her.
coming out, and I was like, my God.
And then I realized that Brittany
Oiled up and just,
always just with the face and the outfits and the, like,
I'm telling you.
whew. Okay, so I had this show on. Victoria comes in. She immediately looks at the screen, does not know what's going on at all. She goes, that woman is way too hot for him. Talking about Sean and Brittany. And I'm like, look, isn't that how it always goes? Isn't that how it always fucking goes?
Absolutely. I'm like, that?
Yeah.
She was just every look. I'm like,
She's
damn, Brittany,
gorgeous.
killing them. Like,
Also, speaking of sagas with them, I don't, maybe this is just me. I know people have like a mental block sometimes, but the fact
yes.
that they were on this show and she was like, I mean, I'm bi-curious. Like, girl, you're on a show to find a third. Like, you are queer.
I'm like, girl, what do you think about that? That you eventually, hopefully, you all will have a sexual relationship as well as emotional connection. I'm like, what did you think you was coming to get a best friend? I mean, and kind of, if you listen at one point, the way they describe it, even the way Sean described it is like, let me paraphrase, like kind of like, oh, you get on my nerves sometimes. We can go and be over there with her.
It's
You
like,
know,
I'm
get you a
sorry.
friend.
Yeah. What do you think polyamory? Look, again,
It's like sister wives or something, like go over there with your sister wife and like you leave me alone now.
what is happening here? Like, did I miss something where it's like, I think part of the requirement here is that you are open to
Like all of
having some kind of romantic or sexual experience, or ideally both, with this person. And
Right.
anyway, but good for her that she came to that conclusion. She came out as bi on the show. Good for her.
Brittany had some definitely some blocks to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just even with talking about her own feelings or what she wanted or expressing herself. So like, there's definitely some work that had to happen in there. I think they did a good job. It looks like they ultimately broke up, but because of some kind of, was it locational issue or vocational?
They lived in LA, but maybe one of them moved. I think they were all like, they ended on good terms.
Yeah, it seemed like they were, but then remember it said that Brittany and Sean got engaged.
They did,
but that Darian was not on the guest list to the wedding.
Oh,
They made sure to say that in the ending credits. I'm like, no, wait a minute.
Okay.
That they were, amicable.
yeah.
And now he's saying she's not invited. So now I want to know why she's not invited. Why did you make, a point to say that?
You're not really that amicable, I guess.
Right.
So, that could
like, is it a very small wedding? Like,
Right.
I have more questions
'cause
now.
that very well also just could have been the producers being messy. Like, maybe they eloped.
Right,
Maybe they hadn't even
'cause that's
had
what
the
I
guest
think it
list.
is.
Like, I don't know. Like, yeah.
Right. Like, are you gonna get invited to the wedding? well, no. And
Mm-mm.
then they're like, oh, she's not going to be invited to the wedding. Like, what? Well, y'all just, wait a minute. Why are you trying to make it so mess?
Right.
And she was really trying to handle things very responsibly. I will say,
She was.
Darian was always trying to be very conscious and responsible. I feel like also Maxwell and Ash, as much as they landed themselves in some mess,
Yeah.
like they
were
definitely
trying.
were trying. They were trying to be mindful of, like, we don't want to present polyamory in a
Right.
certain way. You know, we want to present it very responsibly
Well,
as much as we can. And as like part of the queer community as well. Like, just
yes.
there's a lot of representation in
Yes.
there.
I think everybody, well, except on that end, I think for the most part, most of these people understood that they were embarking on, like, I am representing what a polyamorous lifestyle looks like to the mainstream who isn't
Mhm.
exposed to this. And I think they were trying to do it responsibly, but like just by being on the show at all is like,
Yeah.
it's TV. It's for TV.
You're still gonna get the edit.
Yeah, you're still gonna get
We
the
gonna edit
edit.
as much as we can
You can
and make it
be-
look
yes.
as much as scandalous. Yeah.
Exactly. I also thought
Your situations.
that it was really interesting very early on. Sean and Brittany's very first partner, who they then brought back at the end to be like, "Are
Uh-huh.
you sure?" Which also that was so messy of
Mhm.
them to be like, just in
Right.
case.
I was like, are they about to switch her
You
out?
had some second thoughts. But their whole thing with her in the beginning was like, oh, she just wanted to teach us. She just wanted to teach us about it, which I also like.
Mhm.
She was like, yeah, I grew up this way. My parents were.
Yeah.
And I think I was like, that would have been a nice little addition to the rest of the show to be like, oh, yeah, it's normal to be in this lifestyle. And her, she grew up this
Right.
way. You can be this way around kids and they can understand it in a healthy dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Also, she was fine too, and I was like, hello?
Really?
Hey.
Okay, you know what? There was not an unattractive person on the show.
True.
Everybody
Very
was pretty
true.
hot, I
I was
think.
like, damn.
I don't think there's anybody on the show that I would not have fucked around with at least a little bit,
I was like, what was going on in the singles house? Can we get a show about what was happening at the
Please.
singles house? 'Cause
I want
are we
some,
telling you they weren't over there fucking each other?
I want some
Come
Big
on.
Brother action. Like, what's the side story here? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Tell me what's happening at the singles house. Because they're all of them. I'm like, oh, y'all just over there staying
Okay.
over here together, waiting to come back for the little swap ceremony.
Right. Because they'd be like, and now it's time for them to leave the house. And it's like, well, where do they go? What do they do?
Where are they going?
What are they doing?
Mhm.
They're still in this tropical location, just waiting.
They're staying at the hostel down the road.
Right. Yeah.
Some other property.
Probably.
Mhm.
Let's see. Who else? So Maximum and Ash, unsurprisingly, did not pick. What is her name? I cannot remember. I really liked her. I want to say Brittany.
Is it something with a B?
I wanted to say Brittany.
It's not Jess. It wasn't Jess, was it?
No, because that was
That was the first.
the swinger couples person.
Yeah, that's right. Jess.
Which
that was their,
they ultimately seemed like they ultimately broke up too. But then they were having a baby, so it's like,
right.
Like, okay. Really? Okay, so one, other than Ashman and Rahman and Ashmal.
Oh,
I don't know how I did
I
that.
didn't even catch that you were going with the
Rashman
names.
and Amal.
was like,
I'm gonna call them that
was that
from now
more
on. They were the only ones that broke up. Everybody else stayed together, I think.
Is that?
Not as a throuple, but like couples.
Oh, yes, the couples. Yes, the couple. Yeah, it almost seemed like the couples that stayed together, that was like a catalyst into a different phase of life, like marriage,
Yes,
babies, things like that.
exactly.
Like, we just need to experience this one thing, and then we're gonna get almost like we're gonna get serious. You know what I mean? Like, we're
Yeah.
gonna do the next step.
Which I was like, that's kind of interesting. Like, I'm about it. Like, all right, good for them.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah.
maybe we'll come back to it or something.
Yeah. And then Wilder and Corey were still with Denise. They were the
But
only.
that was the success
Yes.
story. They were actually all still together, and she's gonna move to the city where they are.
Mhm.
Like, she's not there yet.
Maybe they
But-
were in LA. I think maybe they were in LA and that she was getting ready
Mhm.
to move there. So yeah, I was pleasantly
that was really
surprised
cool.
about that.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. We need them to come back for reunion and tell us, like, so, what works, what clicks,
Right.
like, how are you making it work? Because no one else is in a throuple, from the show at this
Right.
point. So, they're like our surviving couple at the end of the reunion show. These people are still together. Look at them. They're sitting on their own special couch. Like, yes, look at us. We're still in love.
Yeah, that's really, I need to see this fucking reunion show. So, Peacock, get with it.
Put the reunion together.
Come on.
Get Andy or whoever.
Yeah.
Get both put together for get Scott. Let's get into it.
Okay, what is he from? Should I know him from something else?
I don't know where Scott is from. I have no idea. Sometimes they just find us a little host.
A nice
And we
little
were like,
host,
do I
yeah.
know this person? And they seem kind of familiar, but also you don't know where you've known them from, but they're kind of attractive and like, where's this man from?
That's kind of the whole point, I guess, right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm looking to see if I can
Good casting.
find any of these people on on Instagram, and I can't. Well, I'll find them
No?
later. Yeah, because
Okay.
I can't remember anybody's last name, so I'm just searching like their first name and then.
Well, Scott's name is Scott Evans.
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you, Scott Evans. What is he from?
Scott Evans with the locks. I'm like, okay, Scott.
He's very
Scott.
attractive as well.
In the lifestyle. Like, okay.
Yes, in the lifestyle.
All right.
Oh, he's on Access Hollywood.
Okay.
So he is from something.
Oh, he is okay.
Yeah.
All right, Scott. We didn't give you a due.
Okay.
That's fine.
Sorry,
My bad,
sir.
my bad.
What else? Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on Couple to Throuple?
That's all. I think we can wrap it on Couple to Throuple. It was a wild ride.
Sure was.
It was very entertaining.
Honestly, not even as messy as I might have expected it to be.
Yeah, it could have been a lot messier. So I'm here for them trying to hold it together.
Yes, exactly.
And, present as best they could for a reality show. It's like it's not a documentary; it's a reality show.
Yeah.
So
it is exactly what you might
be a little
expect.
messy. Yeah, a little producing. So yeah. I think this is a good time for us to take a break. We're going to take a very different turn for the meet.
Oh boy, we sure are. That's for sure.
We're talking about death. So let's take a good break here, and then we'll come back and get into the death meets, the dead meet.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll workshop it and come back.
All right.
And we're back. For the meets, we did not workshop it at all. So we're still just calling it the death meets.
Dead meets.
There's some flies flying around, perhaps, or,
decomposing.
It's all part of the life cycle, which I'm sure we'll talk about as
we're talking about, the end of it. But also, it's a cycle, so it never ends, right?
The end and also the beginning.
The end and the beginning. Hello? So how fitting, again, we're just exiting the Pisces season. Yes, we are in the newness of the Aries season, just post spring equinox, right? But we're gonna talk about death. We're gonna rewind just a little bit. And
let's talk about death.
Talk about death. So traditionally, this is the 8th house action, right? This is where you find death in the natal charts. The 8th house, why people get weird about the 8th house, like, oh God, the 8th house, what's going on up there?
Am I gonna die?
Am I gonna die?
You'd probably be fine,
actually. To die. We get inheritances from the 8th house, but again, someone usually has to die
in order for that to happen. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So to be exact, the 8th house is known as the house of change and transformation. So death is the ultimate transformation of life.
It's true.
Transformed to spirits, that's us, Pisces. We've transformed into another plane, another dimension, another being. I don't know. The soul is there, but we've gone to, I don't know where we're going. I don't know what's happening after. I just don't know. They wiped my memory. I don't know what's going on.
We're here though.
We'll figure it out again after it's over. So Many times, death can be indicated by the planets that are in the eighth house or transiting the eighth house.
Hmm.
But we'll get into it, okay?
Okay.
Don't go getting weird with your charts over here.
I
Like,
know, I'm like, I'm ready to
relax,
pull
everybody
mine
relax.
up. Like, all right, where
So
are we?
you're gonna be all right. It's gonna be fine. Now, remember, in traditional astrology, death is actually inseparable from life. Again, because it's all this
It's all
one cycle and circle.
one
So it's,
cycle.
the ending is a new beginning,
Yeah,
right? Just
makes
like
sense to me.
we just ended the year, the astrological year,
Hmm.
and here we are in the beginning. Like, Pisces season rolls right back into Aries season. So, we in life, we're the baby again. Like,
I'm baby. It's
all right,
Aries
baby.
season. It's I'm baby yet again. Sounds right.
Yes. Yes. It's like my birthday horoscope the other day. It was like, hey, it's all about you. I was like, and that's very Aries energy.
It
It's
is
all about
actually.
me.
It is all about me.
I am baby. And so here we are. So, nothing to get scared about, right?
Sure.
Death is just, in this sense, just moving on to the next life, whatever that life.
Nothing to fear.
Um, so what are the signs, right? Like, what are we looking for? We're in the chart. If we're looking at death, I think a lot of people maybe don't look at death. I don't know. People are different. Scorpios probably do. They're
Right.
not scared.
It's kind of
Uh,
their whole thing, actually.
right. They know exactly, like, it looks like I'm gonna die in this way. Um, it's like, oh, all of I've consulted with your Akashic records. Just looked at the charts. I know the
All
dates.
over it. You're
I
ready.
can't know these things. That's something I need to be surprised about.
Yeah, I'd prefer to be surprised about it.
Right? I do not need to know what's coming. I mean, I know it's coming, but I don't
It's
need to
coming
know
for
it.
us all eventually, but
Right.
yeah, totally. I
Right.
see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna leave this body. And what you believe happens after that, of course, it's up to you. But we're gonna talk a little bit, we're talking about the dying part, right? So
The process.
Eastern civilizations tend to be more inclined to accept reincarnation, right?
Hmm.
So we talk a lot. I think we kind of talk more in that line here.
Hmm.
But everyone doesn't see that. But Eastern civilizations tend to see that more as, like that cycle. So
Yeah.
death is not a definitive end. It's, just that, again, it's just a phase.
A
It's that.
transformation into a
Mm-hmm.
different part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the birth chart can reveal information about the timing and the circumstances of our death. And some people even use astrology to help them cope with the loss of a loved one.
Hmm. That's nice.
That's interesting. I was
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, like, how, in what way? Um, I'm curious about that.
Maybe just like looking at their death chart or something. Like,
This
yeah.
is comforting. Like, yeah, it did say I was gonna die by fire. Like, no, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was in the chart. So as above, so below,
Yeah.
It
Like, I
is
was
what it
reading this
is.
article. It was literally about this woman, and she died in this car crash. And I mean, the chart did like show that
Oh,
energy, and I'm like, wow.
huh. That's
But damn,
surprising.
yeah. But also, you wouldn't. I don't know. Well, I don't. Maybe a more experienced astrologer would see those things. Well, I guess,
Very
especially someone
specifically.
who's specifically looking at death.
Right.
Um, so that means you've seen enough charts and that kind of thing. But like, I wouldn't put that together on the front end. It's something that's easier
Right.
to see on the back end. It's like,
Right.
oh yeah, you see all those connections. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't have seen that like, oh yeah, it looks like she's gonna die in this way.
Because I mean, I think all predictive astrology, it's also up for interpretation. It's like, it
Yeah.
could mean so many things. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty rare that someone would say, like, this is how you're going to die and be accurate about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, maybe someone who's just like very experienced, who have just seen so many charts that like you start to see
Yeah.
similarities. I just
Yeah.
have not seen as that many to see,
To be
those
able
kind
to
of like
say,
connections like, "Ooh, you have that."
this is for
That's
sure
not
what's gonna happen.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
but yeah, yeah. So as we know, Venus and Jupiter are considered our benefic planets.
Mm-hmm.
So Jupiter being the more benefic, it's bigger, I guess. And then we have Mars and Saturn that are known as the malefic planets.
Mm-hmm.
So with modern astrology, the outer planets were added. So Pluto, of course, is considered to be a harmful planet, to say the least.
To say the least, yes.
Very
Yes.
harmful. So we don't like to see that. Again, that's why we're always like, we don't like to see Pluto aspecting and things for real. Like, you just, yeah,
It's not
it's
good.
not a good time. It's harmful,
Right.
So these three planets, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto, can be life-threatening,
Okay.
but there's more to seeing death in your chart. So just seeing these planets is not enough, right? I mean, because they're going to be in the chart, right? They're there. But if they're hanging out together, you know, might be
Probably.
cause for concern in
Yeah.
general. Like if those three planets are hanging out together in your chart, you've probably got some stories.
Something's going on. Yeah.
You got some stories. I don't know if you can articulate them. I don't know, but you definitely have had some experiences.
Mm.
Um, probably not great ones.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit more about the eighth house. So for traditional astrologers, the eighth house is the first and foremost house of death. So this is where we're looking, going straight in.
Mm-hmm.
So the planets in this house nuance the overall significance of this sector of birth chart.
Hmm.
So now we're gonna get into some new vocabulary here.
Ooh, okay. I love a new vocab word.
Uh-huh. And so it's important when we're talking about this to observe the ruler, that's the house ruler,
Mm-hmm.
and the almutin of this house.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about the almutin in just a second.
Mm.
But remember, the house ruler is the planet that governs the house,
Right.
the sign residing in that particular house. So
Mhm.
if it's Aries, that ruler would be Mars, right?
Right.
So just in that vein. So now the almutin, which is an Arabic term, is the strongest planet when all essential dignities are considered.
Okay.
So identifying this involves considering the full range of essential dignities, right? So that rulership by sign, exaltation, triplicity, term and face is considered, not just rulership by sign. So you got to really get into, the almutin is a little more complex, to say the least. Like
Now,
you really have to.
I'm curious how that didn't come up when we did the episode about the dignities.
Now, I'm not sure that it wasn't information there, but I think when I did the research for that, it was probably like, this is about as much as I think we can take yet.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That was a lot of stuff for that episode
Yeah, because the
anyway. So I
dignities
was like,
it definitely
huh.
gets deeper.
Right.
But yeah, I was like, this is probably a good cap for
Yeah, that's
how
fair.
much we can take in on a podcast.
That's fair.
So this is a little more into that space. So we're really, when we're talking about the almutin, we're really considering all of those dignities, and so whatever the strongest planet is, considering all that, that's the almutin. So
Okay. Got it.
a point scoring technique is often used to determine the almutin of any given point. So it's called the almutin of figure, and that is the most dignified planet in the chart. So keep that information in mind. So when we're looking at the eighth house, we're looking at that strongest planet. Now, you might not have a lot of eighth house activity, and that's probably a relief.
Yeah, good for you if that is the case.
Right, like kudos to you. So now here's a house that is unexpected when we're talking about death. At least it was for me.
Hmm.
And that is the fourth house.
The fourth house. Yeah, I
Fourth
don't know that
house.
I've heard that association be made before.
Right. It's the house of home and family. So interesting just to even, take that and think about it. So the fourth house is the furthest south of the ecliptic and therefore far from the light
Hmm.
and also represents the end of life.
Oh, okay.
You're like,
That
well, what do
that
you mean
makes
put it
sense
like that?
when you put it like that. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Far from the light, like, that just, that far from the light, really got me. I was like, yeah.
I know. Yeah, the visual there
Just
really
really
gets
struck
me.
me just
Yeah.
energetically, like, far from the light, yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, you are definitely in depth. So this means that before the person's death, symbolized by the eighth house,
Hmm.
the person's last days are illustrated by the fourth house, the
Mm.
planets it contains, its ruler, and Almutin. So when you want to investigate death in your natal chart, it's good to analyze the fourth house, is it's actually as it's the beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end.
I'm like,
Ooh.
get
Okay.
out of my fourth house, like Rose. Stay out of my Tasha Bear. Stay out of my fourth house and my
Stay
eighth
out of my
house.
foot house
Just
and
get
my
out
eighth
of there. I
house.
mean, everybody's hanging out in my 12th house and my chart. So
Right.
not even doesn't feel like it's that's any better.
Not really.
But
Not really. Somehow.
I guess we just have to suffer here, but maybe, eventually it's I don't know. Where the 12th house is not mentioned in this
I'm
piece. And
surprised it
so
doesn't come up at all, just being the end
yeah.
of the cycle, you know?
Hmm.
Huh.
Maybe I guess because I guess once you're in 12th house, you're already a spirit. So
Yeah, there
so
you
yeah,
go.
you've already experienced
You're already a
death,
ghost at that point, yeah.
I could spirit goes that.
Which, it tracks. It's part of why you have so many 12th house placements, I guess.
That what goes.
Christine is the ghost in human form.
Sexy little ghost.
A sexy little ghost.
Sexy little ghost.
This is the worst things you could be, I think.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the Arab lot of death. So, the Arabic lot of death is a concept that can provide information about the causes of death. This is where I get freaked out. I'm like, oh, no, I just,
I don't really
first off,
want to know, yeah.
I used to have when I was younger, I would be like, okay, I don't want to die these ways. I would have certain things if and I would pray and I'm like, okay, God, please, I just, if I have to die, please don't let me drown. Also, don't want to die in fire.
Ooh.
Of course, then you get to I really would like to just die in my sleep. Everybody's just
Yeah.
I like to go to
Can I
sleep
just
and
go
just,
peacefully in my
just
sleep?
pass
Yeah.
on.
Right. Right.
Well, spirit just, waft up off, the body and it's like,
Perhaps
my body, you know,
surrounded by my loved ones and,
right?
at an old age.
And hey, it looks like that might happen.
For you? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that, but yeah, so it's, I have my things about just there's certain things please not those things though
Please
not
not
car
those things.
crashes or if that's the case, cannot my spirit leave the body before the impact? Can you just
Right.
take care of that so we don't have to feel? I
Right.
don't know. Anyways, so then
It's
you
so
get into
dark.
thinking about those things.
Yeah. That's,
But here we
yes,
are.
here we are.
Take a lot of death thinking about the causes of death. So this is one of the many Arabic parts, and it's calculated by adding the distance between two factors to the third factor.
Okay.
So some math shit. So here's the calculation, just in case anybody wants to get into the things.
Mm-hmm.
It's the degree of the ascendant
Okay.
plus the degree of the eighth house
Mm-hmm.
minus the degree of the moon.
So once you add those together and then, or add, subtract, once you do the math, how do you then interpret that?
So I think that then goes back to looking at like these other placements, like in your fourth house, the Almutin, like so then
Mhm.
that number is going to be significant when you're tying back to those pieces. We're putting
Okay.
all this together because you have all of this has to work together. So this isn't like a you can look at one thing. This is like you have to
Sure.
look at all these things.
Right.
And so this adds that extra layer,
Hmm.
that number. So
Did
something
you
else to take in.
did you look into this at all for your own chart, or were you like,
Oh
I'm
no,
not?
you know,
You're like, no, not fucking around
I
with
told
that.
you I don't want to know. Don't say this. I don't want to know.
Truly cannot blame you. I don't really want to know either, honestly.
Maybe if I get old, I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
tell me.
Tell me when is my
Is it
time?
long?
When is
Much
my
longer?
time? Yeah.
I've been here too long. I'm tired now. Any day. Some people get old and start saying that. They're like, listen, all right, just any day. Cool.
I hope it never comes to that for me personally.
Just
It doesn't
like,
sound good. It really doesn't. I'm like,
like
uh,
I'm ready.
I want
I'm
to be
ready.
living the life the whole time. Like, really,
Mhm. I'd be
really.
ready to go. Some of 'em be ready to go. Like I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna head out. I'm gonna head on out.
All
Okay.
right, I'm gonna head out.
All right. So before we head on out, we're gonna talk about one last part here,
Yeah.
and it is called the Anoretta, the life
Mhm.
destroyer.
More new vocab words. I'm loving this.
I'm telling you. So, whew. So Anoretta is a term from Hellenistic astrology. And so it refers to a planet that severely afflicts the high leg. In other words, the life giver
Okay.
at birth and by direction. So, high leg, right?
Okay.
That's a new one for us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the life giver. And so the Anoretta is severely afflicting this life giver, and therefore being a life destroyer. So it is usually a malefic, but any planet can be the Anoretta, particularly the Lord of the 8th house, the Almutin of the house,
Mm-hmm.
or any planet placed in it.
In the 8th house, any planet in the 8th house.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Um.
So
hmm. Do you have 8th house placements?
I think I do. I was trying to remember what was in the 8th house. It might be.
I also was just
Actually,
thinking, and I can't remember what I have in the 8th
I'm like,
house.
I know I have my birth chart open in my browser in one of these many, many tabs that I have
So many tabs.
open in my in everywhere. I've been doing very well with the computer lately and not having a million tabs. Now I do have like 3 different windows logged into 3 different accounts.
Look, sometimes it just has to be like that.
Working at the same time, but doing me. Okay. Do I have planets in the 8th house? Yes, I have Neptune. Neptune is in the 8th house. That's what I was like. There's something in there, but I can't remember. It's Neptune.
Interesting.
So that's it's an interesting
Oh.
not one of the malefics, but also again, depending on some of these other factors, it can definitely be any planet that's hanging out there in that house. So essentially, High Leg is the best planet, while Anoretta is the worst planet in a birth chart. So the Anoretta, listed as the taker of life, can easily be determined in a birth chart with the AstroSeek calculator. So, the AstroSeek friends, and they do those things for you. And so all these parameters have to be taken into consideration. Like I was saying just a minute ago,
Right.
when investigating the death of an individual, right? So this is not one of those simple practices. This is definitely a more in-depth thing. You want to talk to someone probably very seasoned in looking at death charts or
Right.
at death in charts, and they want to know what's your success rate.
But
Did the
also,
person die?
you
Like,
know,
I mean,
maybe right. How do you know? How does have you seen so many dead people's charts, okay?
but
Like, I don't
he's
like
like,
that.
I've got a collection of obituaries as proof. Like,
Okay. That's better, I guess.
this is good to know.
Sorry,
Well,
this
how
is
do you get your referrals in the death chart business? I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Um,
This is just a quick side note, but I have 3 planets in the 8th house. Or like I have my Saturn, Venus, and Mars are all in the 8th house.
okay, so Saturn and Mars is concerning because those are the malefics.
Those are the
But
malefics, yeah.
um, well, we'd have to look further. We'd have to look further.
We would have to consult
I
an
mean,
expert.
it's not one of these things. Like again, it's like we're all going to die.
Sure, right. It's
So
like,
it's
oh
just like,
no, I'm
well,
gonna
in what
die.
way? It's like, what
Yeah.
does that tell us about your death? Is more of the question, right? Like, what does it tell us about when, where, how,
Yeah.
why,
Why? Who?
you know, all the questions.
Right.
Who was there? Who saw it? Was the family there? Was P there?
Uh-huh.
This tells you what time of night is. Okay, so that's a wrap on death. That's the end.
That is
My
the
friend.
end. And that is the end.
The end.
The end. Yeah, interesting shit. I obviously there's a lot to look at there, but again, like you said, there's really like everybody's gonna die, so it doesn't really say anything, you
Right, like
know.
no one's actually gonna just out, no one's gonna beat it. Like
Right.
it's like I beat death, like I cheated it. Like no one's chart is showing, that you might get, I don't know, it might show a second chance or something that, you had a near death experience. Might be able to show you some things like that.
Right.
But everybody's gotta die.
Interesting. Well,
It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Again,
no, truly,
it could
I think
be a
the
very,
world would be a much better.
beautiful thing.
Yes, I think it would
I
be.
saw a very beautiful dog funeral at the beginning of the
Aw.
week, and it made me like, I mean, it was just like it was probably very over the top,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, but also I'm like, yeah, if when my first dog passed, like I had those kind of funds, I would have done that absolutely.
What was it?
Like
What were
I was like, it's so
they?
beautiful.
What did they have? Was it like a
I mean, it
full?
was like a full, like it was like casket, like the baby
Oh,
was laying in there. They had it was like swallow.
oh,
It just was like I almost cried a little bit. I was like, pull it together. You're watching this. Like, it's a
yeah.
real
Well,
cookie.
look, sometimes the reels really get you for real. Like I
I'm
I
like,
caught
oh my
myself crying
god,
to a TikTok the other day, and so
yes.
I understand.
I mean, they added in a
Yeah,
little, like in a little. I mean, there were pews. Like I guess it was in a little funeral home or whatever. And I mean, there were
yeah.
people there. There were, I mean, beautiful florals. Like, I mean, it was just very
Hmm.
beautiful. Like, I mean, they brought little dog friends, and that really took me out. That took me out there, and they brought the dogs up there to see him at the. I was like, I can't.
Okay, sorry, this is now we're on a death tangent, but I saw this thing the other day that someone posted, and they were talking about how when they died, they wanted someone to like bring their dog to show the dog the body
Mm,
because like dogs like animals understand death,
mm-hmm.
and I'm sure that they also have feelings about it, but like just like humans do. But there's
Yeah.
like it helps their grief process because they don't think that their owner just left them. They
Yeah.
understand like they they understand the death, and then they can like cope with
Yeah.
it better. And I was like, damn, I hope somebody does that for me.
I know. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I get in my feelings about that. Not the little pups.
I know.
Uh,
Shouts out.
but yeah. Yeah. It just was very touching and sweet, and just I was like, oh yeah, I would spend that money. I would spend that money to
Yeah.
do the same thing, and non-pet people will tell you that is ridiculous and over the top, and I'm like, but I
But
mean, that's your loved
that's a
one.
being that you loved. Yeah, it's like the
Yes.
same way that, and I don't know. I feel complicated about funerals, and like I've had this conversation with a friend of mine who works in the quote unquote death industry, because
Yes.
so much of it I think takes advantage of the living people who are grieving and going through a
Mhm.
trauma. But I think there are people that do it in a really beautiful and caring kind of way. Anyway,
Yeah.
I feel complicated about funerals because I'm like, who is that for? Is that for it? And I think it really is very dependent on, I'm looking at it from a very like, skeptic ass co-host nihilistic point of view, which is where like, who's that for? That's not for me. I'm dead. Like
Well,
that's
it's,
for
the
you.
funeral is definitely for the family. No, the
Yeah.
funeral is definitely for the people left behind.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting, I mean, altogether, the industry is interesting. And I definitely would love to have a part two conversation in general
Mhm.
because there's so much more interesting stuff to talk about as far as the death industry,
Yeah.
including the new things that, are happening in the death industry.
Mhm.
There's technology involved in some ways,
Mhm.
and different ways to continue life beyond death, maybe.
Mhm. Interesting.
AI,
Ooh, ooh.
different things.
I don't like it. I already don't like it.
It's the no age of Aquarius is here,
Ugh.
Now I watched a really interesting documentary on Netflix. It was one of the short ones, but it was talking about the different advances in the death industry. So I'm like, oh, I would definitely love to get into a further
Yeah.
conversation. I know you have a friend in the
Yeah.
industry, so I'm like, that would be a great
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Okay, we'll consider that for our season 5 if we ever do a part 2
Yes.
on this, because then we can have Rachel on, and she's a Leo, so she'd probably love to be on a podcast. But yeah,
Yes.
I'm always intrigued by what well, I'm just intrigued in general by people who find that kind of stuff interesting. Just at all, because like I don't know, part of me is like, yeah, I could deal with that. But also I work with living people, and I think her take
Mhm.
is like, I'm better off with these people who have passed than I am with
Yes.
people who have died,
Absolutely.
which,
Now
I, it just
I can discuss conceptual things about death all day.
right. Can you actually
The
like
spirituality of it, but actually, like, being, like, with grief is the grief. That's
yeah,
the hard part. It's
you're
like
right.
being around people who are grieving, being like, that energy is so heavy,
Mhm.
it
It
then takes
is.
me back into my own grief, and it just
Right.
it's not a place that is my, forte of working in, um but I'm very interested in people who do and people
Yeah.
who yeah, like, it's just like, people ask how we work with trauma, they're like, "How do you take in that?" And I'm like, "I
Yeah,
don't know,
that's
I
fine.
just
I just
can, I
do.
don't know, I
Yeah.
just do." Like, and so they're probably similar way, like, I don't know, it's something that I
Yeah.
can deal with and I can take in. Yeah.
Everybody has to have their own little niche of things that no one else wants to do, and that's what makes us all like very cool and interesting people, It's yeah.
I'm telling you. Yeah, yeah. So let us know your thoughts, people. Does death like really interest you? Have you looked into
Yeah.
your own death and through astrology or any other means,
Right. Do you have a
mediums or
plan for
what,
your own, like, do you have wishes for your physical body after you die? I know people have
Yeah.
a lot of thoughts about that.
Do you have thoughts about that? We didn't talk about
Oh,
that.
I have thoughts. Yeah, I absolutely have thoughts. I'd love to I
Anything
just
you want to share?
yeah, I don't know. I just again, I think like the big traditional funerals, like it's just it always feels wasteful to me, and like I know the chemicals and the carbon emissions that they use to like embalm
Mm,
bodies and stuff. I'm like, just put send me back into nature, send me back into nature. Cremate me if you want something and you want to hold on to a little piece of me, sure, but like everything else, like put me I don't have a will right now, so if anybody's listening to this is me telling you, please cremate
well, you
me
better
or
put
turn
that in some. They're
r
gonna have to fight for that because there are laws about how to dispose of bodies. You
right,
can't
right, you
just
can't just toss me into the river,
you
which I don't know
cannot
that
just
I don't
release
know
you
that I
back
would
to
want
nature.
that either, but, like, there's things that you can do. Turn me into
But
a
yeah,
tree,
yeah.
like,
Hmm.
just don't, please do, for the love of God, do not put me in a box. Like,
Right, I know.
I,
That part we can
ooh,
definitely, yeah.
my spirit will
I'm
not sit well with being put in a fucking box. So please don't do that.
yes. I mean, because eventually the body will decompose eventually. The
And
body
that box,
will.
that lacquered up ass box, is still gonna be in
Yeah,
there. Like,
I'm telling
no,
you. And then
thank you.
all the rumors about what actually goes into the ground. Does that
Hmm.
lacquered ice box go into the ground?
Right.
They come back and they take, because there's all
Yeah.
kind of scam stuff going on. I mean, it's wild, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very much of the like turn me into like a guardian, a tree, or like,
Yeah.
yeah, like make something beautiful, like, life come from it again.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm not a f I've never been a fan of the funeral, and maybe it's because I just went to too many too early or something
Yeah.
and just was like,
Yeah.
again, that energy is so heavy. I'm like, I've always been a fan of the New Orleans funeral because it's just
Yes.
a parade and a party
Where
in the
it's a
streets. I'm like, that.
celebration. Yes. Celebrate my
Yes,
life. Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah.
If y'all wanna get together, talk about how crazy I
Yeah. Please tell stories
like,
about
she was
me.
wow, like, she really was different, like, whatever.
Yeah. I
But
like
let's not
that.
sit and
You
cry,
can have
like,
a party if you want. I'd
yeah.
kind of like it actually.
I would love a party, like, throw me a party, like, hopefully you
Yeah.
threw me a party in my life at some point, but, at least throw a party in my
At the bare
life.
minimum. And again, I think I don't want to get too far off on this because I don't want to make it too long of an episode, but I do
I know,
think
yes.
that this deserves a part two because I think there's just so much to be said for the way that we process grief. And like, I'm just thinking, you said New Orleans funeral, but it reminded me of the first time I went to Costa Rica. I was on the way back to the airport
Mm,
and we had to drive a little ways to get there, but we got stuck behind a funeral procession, and it was much like a New Orleans funeral. It was like dancing, they were playing music
wow.
and singing and walking the casket through the street.
Mhm.
And it just I think the way I don't know if it's like America. Sorry, my edible's kicking in, so let me get off on my weird little tangent about how much I hate America.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's just like our Western idea of death. Like the Western culture is very self-centered, right? So it's all about like
Mhm,
me and like what can I get and individualism
mhm.
and capitalism and whatever. And so I think that when someone dies, we all tend to make it about us and our grief
Yeah,
and not like celebrating this person's life and like who
right.
they were and like I mean I don't know, I'm just fucking talking, but like sometimes it does feel that way and it's like I wish that we looked at it from a more celebratory, yes,
Yeah,
grief, but like honoring that person in a way instead of just
yeah. I wish
you know
that the actual celebration of life, because oftentimes you'll go to a funeral and, the program will say celebration of life,
right.
and it's
It
not
always
that
does
there's
say
never,
that.
yeah, it's like, it's not that there's never like high points or like points of levity in a funeral, but
Sure.
a lot of funerals are so heavy. And it's just hard energy I'm like, I just can't, I've had
Yeah.
I've
And
told you stories. I'm like, I just can't do it anymore. But
yeah.
it's just like yeah, let's celebrate the great things, the
Mhm.
memories, let's get together in the backyard, do a barbecue or something, put them
Mhm.
up on the screen, like,
Right.
look at that moment. Remember this video when they were doing this and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, and it's okay to cry, but it's like
Mhm.
let it be light, like,
Right.
let it be light.
Well,
I'm in a spirit form now. Let it be light.
right. Like go outside,
Oh,
something.
yes.
I think about funerals and like our idea of what a funeral is and like how funerals culturally are here and like even like the set and setting a lot of times it's like funeral homes are like sad
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
places. I'm imagining like the organ music is sad, like
Mhm.
there's just so much to it that feels, like, stifling, and I
Yes.
also think that is the culture too of, like, America, Western culture is very, like obviously, I think we're moving away from that, but we're, like our expression of emotion is stifled, and so I think about,
Yeah.
like, this past year I think I went to 3 funerals in 2023, like, all within, like, 3 months of each other, and it was like,
Mm,
ooh, it was a lot. Um, but, like, there's just so many people trying to stifle their emotion, and I feel like that is so unhealthy. Now I'm just on a tangent
yeah.
about just talking about death in general, but, like, yeah,
Yeah.
if I die and you have feelings about it, yell them, scream them, cry them out loud, get them out
Get
of
it
your
out.
body, like yeah, anyway.
But hopefully at some point celebrate, the fact that I was here, that I lived, that, hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's been ups and downs, but it's been a pretty good life, so
Yeah.
like we talk about some high points,
Laugh
there's
about
definitely
it,
some good moments in there. Like, let's talk about those. Like, let's not just sit here and be, oh,
in it, like,
we ain't here no
sad.
more.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I want you to be like, man, yeah, she was such a cool energy. Like, I'm glad I got to know her. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I do think we need a shift. And we are
Yes.
shifting a little bit, but yeah, like a shift in how we handle death,
Mhm.
how we see death, how we do
Yeah.
celebrations of life.
Right. Actually
Let it be a
celebrate it.
celebration there.
Right. Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
is it a dredge or is it a celebration? Are we dredging? Like, okay, we're dredging.
Feels that
But
way.
but yeah, so we'll just go ahead and wrap the show here. So,
Right. Right.
um, if you all would like to send us your comments, questions, requests for
Look,
readings,
send us
what
our celebrations while we're still here. Give us our
hello?
flowers now.
Yes,
Don't
give
wait
us our
till
flowers today.
don't wait.
Uh, don't wait till I'm gone.
No
You
need
can
to wait
send some
until
flowers in, but I'm not gonna
death.
be able to enjoy those.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I
Come
don't
on.
know, some of the family, I guess somebody else can get to enjoy those, but not me, and I like flowers, so I
Me
would like
too.
those. Um, so email us at suchapiscespod@gmail.com, and that is spelled suchapiscespod@gmail.com.
And other places to send us flowers virtually or, however you want to do that.
Mm,
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, not Twitter, X,
X,
YouTube. Please check us out on
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, all the places. TikTok. I'm going to be posting some of our little clips on TikTok this week. So hopefully, you find us that way. And now that I've said it on the podcast, I have to do it.
Yes, connect with us, people. Like, we love to
Please.
hear from you. We love to see you. Hopefully, you're seeing us again. Check out that YouTube page. Go ahead and subscribe so you can be
Yes.
seeing all the content as it rolls out.
Don't you want to see our pretty
Um,
faces?
Yes, like, all the audio is there, the video is there, like, it's a one-stop shop over there. You get to see, our cuteness. Um, so yeah, check all those things out, and we're gonna roll out of here this evening. So I will say, stay safe in these streets and protect your energy.
And as always, seduce and scheme safely. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.